just gonna eat like pizza and just be skinny?
No. We are back with Dr. John Whyte, Chief Medical Officer at WebMD. Candace Gibson is graciously playing with us today.
Yes.
We are giving you the full spectrum of stuff. We're talking about Ozempic, okay? We've heard the names like Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, Zepbound. They're all weight loss drugs. Well, they're used for something else, but they have been used in recent years for weight loss, and they're scrutinized, right? One is meant to help for diabetes, but more and more people are using them for weight loss. So, Dr. John Whyte, thanks for sticking around.
Absolutely.
You guys were having a conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fascinated by these drugs and have some familiarity with them personally. First, kind of explain like how these drugs work and how different are they from one to the other.
And you know, roughly 6% of the population is on a weight loss drug. So we really have seen a significant growth. But most of the time...
Like one of these weight loss drugs?
Especially the newer drugs. What we call the GLP-1s, a glucagon-like peptide 1. So what they're doing is they're mimicking that hormone.
Okay.
So what they do is they make you feel full more quickly than you would have before. So they delay what's called your stomach from emptying. So if your stomach stays full longer, right, it expands. And that sends a hormone to your brain to say, hey, I'm full, and I'm not going to eat as much.
So it's literally the Devil Wears Prada line, where you eat a cube of cheese and like, oh, I'm full.
Yeah, a little bit like that. But as you pointed out, these drugs were first approved for diabetes. So they actually help improve your cell's response to insulin. So you're going to have better glucose control. And it's sometimes these ups and downs of blood sugar that make you hungry, that have cravings.
Yeah. There have been some, to the shock of no one, or at least to the shock, not to the shock of me, there have been some side effects, some adverse effects of using these drugs as a way to lose weight, going so far as someone has overdosed on these drugs. What is it about it is it improper use? In other words, clarify all of this, because what comes up must come down.
And every drug has benefits and risks, right? So the benefit is weight loss. And for many people, at 1 year, you can see 15% weight loss. So if you're 200 pounds, you're going to lose 30 pounds. That can be significant. And usually in the first 4 months, you see weight loss. But the side effects can be the typical things, because now we're talking about the gut: nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. I saw a patient the other day with severe constipation, right? Because it's delaying your gut. Roughly about 5% of people, the side effects are so significant that they have to come off the drug. But most people actually tolerate the drugs pretty well.
Okay.
Sometimes people complain of headaches. The other thing is low blood sugar can happen. Now, the issue of dosing can be complicated. So these drugs are in shortage. So the FDA publishes a shortage list. There's actually some improvement. But when that happens, there's pharmacies called compounding pharmacy that can make these drugs. Now, what I have to tell you is they're not exactly the same as the trade product that you would get from your pharmacy. So there can be some differences, including how they dose. And it can be confusing. We don't really understand, milligrams, milliliters, units. And sometimes people say units. So they're actually calibrating.
They're giving themselves the wrong amount. So for the uninitiated, these drugs are, you have to inject yourself.
They're an injection. They're not a pill. We might see that soon, but currently we don't.
And so if you get it from a different type of pharmacy, you might be putting the wrong amount of drug
because they might be saying units, and you might be thinking another amount. And then remember, these drugs have what's called an escalation of dosing. So you change your dosing over time, increasing the amount.
So I know we're in the early stages of learning its effect on weight loss, but we're also learning like the early stages of how it helps with other addiction.
That's exactly right. So what we're seeing in terms of alcohol, smoking, illicit drugs, because many of us get pleasure from food. Right? So we're impacting the brain and certain hormones. And if we can delay that pleasure that you're getting from smoking or from alcohol, then you're not going to crave it.
So you could be training your brain by virtue of doing
We still
this.
need more research on that,
Yeah.
but that's an area that's of some excitement.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Well, Dr. Whyte, thank you so much for spending nearly your entire morning with us.
I really appreciate it.
The copay will be left.
Copay in the envelope outside the door.
You take a layaway plan?
Oh my God. This is not the Spiegel catalog.
I know, it's true.
If you want more information from Dr. Whyte, you can always find him over at WebMD.com, Chief Medical Officer of WebMD.